Assalamu alaikum, it's me Fatima Zara, and today we will study about terpenes, their biosynthesis and function. So in this topic we will have a brief introduction, then what is the isoprene rule, then we will discuss about biosynthesis, two types of pathway, mevalonic acid pathway and methylerythritol phosphate pathway, then what are the functions of terpene, and at the end we will have a short question answer session. So let us start. Terpenes are the biggest class of secondary metabolites. They are aromatic compounds. Now comes that what is the characteristic property of terpenes? So the main property is that they give scent to many plants such as orange peel, cannabis, pine, lavender. So we know that all of these things have a special kind of fragrance which is possible because of the combination of terpenes. Another important role which terpenes are playing that they protect the plant. So in nature these terpenes protect the plant from animal grazing or infectious germs. Terpenes are formed by the fusion of 5-carbon isoprene unit. So basically, we have five carbons which are joined together. Over here, we can see the picture. So the basic structural element of terpene are called isoprene unit. So they are the structural element. All terpenes are occasionally referred to as isoprenoids, and they are oxidized. Whenever a terpene is oxidized, it is known as terpenoid. The basic molecular formula for terpene is C5H8N. And what is N? N is showing that how many isoprene units are linked together. So if there are 2, we will put 2 in the place of N. If there are 4, we will place 4, and it goes on. Isoprene rule. Isoprene consists of carbon and hydrogen, and it is not limited to only single bond. So isoprene has a head and a tail. So in this picture we can see that we have a head and a tail. So what is isoprene rule? It dictates that how isoprene units are joined together. Like we can see that tail of one unit will combine with the head of another unit, and the unit will become larger and larger. So the simplest example for this is mycene. Now comes the main part, biosynthesis. So terpenes are biosynthesis from primary metabolites. Basically, terpenes are secondary metabolites, so they are biosynthesized from primary metabolites. So we have two types of pathways. The one is mevalonic acid pathway, and second is methylerythritol phosphate pathway. Mevalonic acid pathway. So this pathway takes place in cytosol. As a precursor, we need acetyl-CoA. So three molecules of acetyl-CoA are joined together and they form mevalonic acid. So mevalonic acid is a 6-carbon intermediate. So this 6-carbon intermediate is converted into IPP, isopentyl diphosphate. Now, the conversion of mevalonic acid to IPP contain three different kind of steps. Like first of all, it will have a process known as pyrophosphorylation, then decarboxylation, and after that dehydration. So at the end we have a product which is known as IPP. So IPP is the activated 5-carbon building block of terpenes, which is 6-carbon. Now here comes a question that basically mevalonic acid contain 6 carbons while IPP contain 5. So one carbon is released in the form of carbon dioxide. So in this picture we can clearly understand what is happening. Like mevalonic acid is undergoing pyrophosphorylation, then decarboxylation and dehydration, and as a product we have isopentyl pyrophosphate. Now this isopentyl pyrophosphate is a 5-carbon intermediate which isomerizes into DMAPP, dimethyl allyl pyrophosphate. Now which is a 5, both of these are 5-carbon intermediates and they are responsible for the formation of terpenes. Next come methylerythritol phosphate pathway. So this pathway takes place in the chloroplast, and other than that we can get IPP from intermediates of glycolysis or from carbon reduction cycle. Okay. So in this pathway what happens that as a precursor we have glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate and we have pyruvate. So in this picture, we can understand that glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and pyruvate both are 3-carbon intermediates. So they join together and form methylerythritol phosphate. So in this step, what is happening that when glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and pyruvate combine, it forms 6 carbons. But methylerythritol phosphate is 5-carbon compound. So what is happening that 1 carbon dioxide is released in this process. Now, as a product, we have isopentyl pyrophosphate, which is 5-carbon, and it is again isomerized into DMAPP, which is also a 5-carbon. So these 5-carbon intermediates are responsible for the formation of terpenes, as we have discussed earlier. Now, what happened that isopentyl pyrophosphate and dimethyl phosphate thiolide, both of these form many kind of terpenes. Like it forms geranyl diphosphate, which is a 10 carbon. So any terpene which contains 10 carbons is termed as monoterpene. So after that we also have phrenesyl diphosphate FPP, which is 15 carbon. So the 15 carbon and uh, you can say 30 carbons, and both of them are known as the 30 carbon compound will known as triterpene, and the one with 15 carbon is known as sequiterpene. After that we have geranyl diphosphate, so which form diterpenes. So any terpene which contain 10 carbons is known as monoterpene, the one with 20 is known as diterpene, the one with 40 is known as tetraterpene. Now, another main part of the presentation is functions of terpene. So they give smell to the plant. Like we know, we have discussed this part earlier that they give a specific kind of scent to the plant. So terpenes are highly aromatic compounds that determine the smell of many plants and herbs. Then comes flavor. So they're not only giving the scent or the fragrance, they're also responsible for the flavor, which is then used in perfumes, body products, and even in foods. Attract pollinator. So they're also giving advantage to the plant, like they attract pollinators, and another thing that they repel predators. So they are protecting the plant. Advertise. They are frequently found in glandular hairs that project outward from the epidermis to serve as advertise the toxicity. Like we have observed many kind of plants, like we have we there are short kind of hairs coming outside. So it represents that the plant is a kind of toxic. So we do not bite it, or the plant is protected. Protective role. Some terpenes play a protective role in the plant by helping the plant to recover from damage. Others act as a part of the plant's immune system to keep away the infectious germs. Okay. Gibberellins, they are diterpenes. So their diterpenes mean they contain 10 carbons. So they cause tallness of the plant. Sterol, it is a diterpene. It contains 15 carbons. So it is essential component for the cell membrane. Then comes red, orange, and yellow carotenoids. They are tetraterpenes, means 40 carbon. So they are accessory photosynthetic pigments and prevent photooxidation. Terpenes also play important role as essential oils. So many plants contain mixture of volatile monoterpenes and sesquiterpenes, which are known as essential oils. So peppermint, lemon, basil, sage are examples of plants that contain essential oils. Peppermint oil is menthol, while lemon oil is limonene. So essential oils have well-known insect repellent properties as well. Aging hormone. We have abscisic acid, so it is important as the aging hormone. Now comes an important role, global warming. Basically, terpenes are having a very important role in controlling the global warming. So they keeps the temperature, they keep cool. So scientists discover cloud thickening chemical in trees that could offer a new weapon in the fight against global warming. So it is a very plus point for the planet and to control the global warming. So the topic is finished, but we have a short question answer session, like which unit makes up every terpene? I think that you guys could answer this. How many carbons are there in an isoprene unit? What is the systematic name of isoprene? and what is an oxidized terpene known as? So I want you guys to answer these questions, but as it is just a recording, so I cannot ask these questions face to face. So I'm answering these questions in the very next slide, so you can tell your answers. So which unit makes up every terpene? It's isoprene unit. How many carbons? We know there are 5. Systematic name for isoprene is 2-methyl-butadiene, and oxidized terpene is known as terpenoid.